Hi, this is Lou from Lou's Antiques and Collectibles, and we buy and sell stuff for our two antique booths at two antique malls, and we're heading to the Kiwanis sale today. And this is in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and my friend from the Turn Leg, who was a YouTube on the Turn Leg, told me about this. And look at this huge building. This was a little bit shocking. She told me it was really good. So we are up here today seeing what we could find here to put in our antique booth, and maybe some personal items too. And here are the hours. They're only open on Fridays and Saturdays, and they're pretty limited on their hours, and sometimes they do change. So it's always good to check before you go up there to see if there's been any changes to the hours. I think it changes seasonally. So, but they were gracious enough to let us film inside, so we got a good look at it for you folks. So in the beginning, there was lots of electronic stuff and tools and tons of glassware. Here's a nice little piece, probably from the 60s. That I looked at, and here's also a nice piece from, it's elegant depression glass. It's called Teardrop. It's by Duncan and Miller. So we were looking around. There was tons of stuff. They had an antique section that was a little bit more pricier, but then they had lots of housewares and things like this in other shelving parts too. So this is kind of where we were. We were looking for a bargain. So we didn't really want to pay antique prices. So. But yeah, they had a lot of cool stuff. This place was huge. It was definitely worth a drive. Look at this sugar and creamer. And as I watch this, I think, why didn't I buy that? That's pretty nice. And this dish was beautiful. A nice 50s dish, but it had a chip on it. So I passed on that one. A lot of the items, if I passed on them, it was because the price was a little too high for me to triple from my booth. Like that plate wasn't bad for $1, but to get the whole set would probably cost me about $10 or $15, and I couldn't get much out of that set. So so either there was some damage or the price wasn't right for me to buy. So otherwise, there was lots of cool stuff. And if you're getting stuff for yourself, I bought quite a bit for myself here. I didn't show it on camera, but they had nice clothing and toys and all kinds of goodies. This was interesting. It was brass, like a brass piece, and it was a donkey, so I had to get that. That was only $1. And then this box I picked up, but then I eventually took it back because it was $3, and I got to thinking, I don't think it's really worth $9. So it was a cool box. It had carving on it, but I ended up passing on it, but it rode around the cart for a little while. So we're in kind of the bathroom section, and here's some little trinkets and things like that. I ended up getting this Opryland bank. It looked pretty old to me. It was from Nashville. I don't know if Opryland is even open anymore, so put in the comments if you know, because I don't know. I kind of think they closed, but I'm not sure on that. And here was a nice little shoe that I ended up picking up for $1. And that was an interesting box. It was something really old, but it has to be something still that people want. It can't just be an old box with neat graphics on it. So I ended up passing on that. This box was interesting. I thought it might be old, but after looking at it, that wicker box, I think it was newer. Because it looked like it had an old tag, maybe with a UPC or something on the bottom, but it kind of looked old to me initially, so I passed on that one. This was a nice little piggy bank, but it was missing the stopper in the bottom, and it had some damage too, a little bit on the bottom. So I ended up passing on that one. The prices in these sections was really good. I mean, there was things that were too much for me for buying and selling, but the prices were a lot better than many of the other thrift stores that I've been to. So I thought they were really pretty reasonable, especially if you want things for your own home. So definitely a cool place to go. I've been in this area for years and years and never even knew this existed. So it was really fun to find the new place. So here's all kinds of bells. And all kinds of little lady figurines. Now this was interesting. It looks like to me like a form of a snow baby, and it's by Department 56. So it was only a couple bucks, and I kept thinking, why isn't this in the antique collectibles section? This is too good. But I think they might have missed it. I kept looking for damage, and it was perfect. So I definitely picked up on that. This looks like a little, they call them piano babies. They used to put them on the top of pianos for decorations, but that was a newer one. So it was a cute little baby. I ended up picking that up. And the salt and pepper shakers were really reasonable. I liked that set because it had the little carriage and horses on it. And then that's actually a depression glass piece set, so I ended up picking up both of those. And these were really cool. They were like mid-century looking, and they were copper, so I grabbed those. Those were really reasonable. And I looked through all of the salt and pepper shakers, didn't see any more. This butter dish I would have bought because it had the top. It looked like it was American in the elegant depression glass, but the bottom didn't match. Even though it was inserted in there correctly, it was not a matching piece, so I passed on that one. And they had lots of little casserole dishes and nice bowls. Definitely good things for your home if you needed things like this. And then they had a very big jewelry section. First they had all these cards with necklaces on them. So that was really neat. Their jewelry was, the prices were reasonable. I think I found one ring that was really good. And I almost thought it was so nice looking, I actually thought it was real. So I'm in these dollar rings, so that's more about the style I want to pay for items. So I did get a costume ring there, and I don't think I showed it at the end, but I put it wasn't real. There it is right there. And I ended up putting $10 on it. So I came back and got that ring, and that was a good buy for $1. So, but I didn't include it at the last footage. But it's already out in the mall for sale. So nice rings. There was a lot of really good jewelry in the cases. That's the one I bought. I thought that was really neat. It had all different color stones around it. Gosh, it really looked like it was sterling, but it wasn't. I think they're pretty good at finding out what their jewelry is. They seem very knowledgeable about it here. Lots of earrings for $2-3, and lots of items in the case that were a little bit more money, but boy, they had some really interesting pieces. So if you're in the jewelry market, this is a good place to go. They had a lot of sterling. They even had some gold pieces. So that was cool. Don't typically see that at a thrift store, but they had a lot of stuff. Lots of volunteers here that work, and boy, what a nice shop. Very clean and very organized. Look at all these earrings. Wow. I'm sure you could find something there for yourself. They had about every color. And here's some more of the case jewelry. That was super nice. Like I said, the prices were good, but not enough for me to make a profit on. But definitely for myself, I would have picked up things if I needed it. If you're trying to look for something for that special outfit, this is a good place to go. And here's the antique section. And here's some of the pictures they had. They had a whole section of just pictures that were pretty cool. So I think that would be something to watch. I wished I lived a little bit closer, because I'll tell you, this would be a place I would go to every week, because they are constantly putting stuff out as they're open, and they really had a lot of things to choose from. And there's a Van Gogh print. And some more nice pictures. Lots of prints. Some older ones also. And they have a big section of furniture, and they had mattresses and bikes and things like that you find at thrift stores. But a very large section of them. My friend from the Turn Leg, she does a lot of furniture, so she had a good time up here finding some really nice items that she's going to repurpose. So here's lots of couches. If you needed things for your home, they had them in very reasonable prices. And I'm dabbling in toys these days, so of course I have to look at all the toys, see if there's anything really cool that I can make a profit on. I'm doing really well with the toys, but it's still kind of hard to know what to buy. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of everything, and then we'll see what happens with that. Here's a whole bunch of plush that they had. Beanie Babies. And some more trucks and action figures. And a little bus. Some nice puzzles. And a spirograph that looks like it's brand new. And Legos. And they had a section of board games. And here's some of the prices that they had for that area. And this whole room where the toys were at, it's a huge room, and they had CDs and record albums and DVDs and books. The whole section is done like that, and there was a ton of books and very reasonable. There also was an Easter section, so that's the Easter section, and we have more furniture on this side. So these buildings, as you saw in the beginning, there's 2 large buildings, and they were just full. So here's some electronics that they had, and all kinds of gear that they had, camera gear and things like that, and some appliances. And they had a few tables set out with different things like golf apparel and stuff like that. There's a big section of purses. The purses and the clothing are kind of in the back area, and it was like a whole nother large area of stuff. So I definitely went through the purses looking for things that are sparkly, looking for Vera Bradley's, looking for more older vintage items. Oh, this was nice. I got this 31 bag. It was brand new in the bag, and it was only $1, so it's like, well, that's kind of a no-brainer. I can make at least $5 on that. So I picked up on that one. So that was a really good deal. And I did look for vintage clothes and didn't find a ton of that in there. But they had a lot of clothing, and I bought some clothing like for my daughter and myself for our personal use. And they had a lot of nice shoes too, and linens. Tons of linens. There was some older ones there. Not exactly what I'm looking for me, but they were quite nice. And we're back in the area with all the decorative items. And these glasses were really nice. They were a little bit too much money for me to spend, but boy, they were a nice older set with Disney characters on it. Cool. The penguin was really nice too. This was more in the antique section because they're obviously a collectible or antique item. And of course, I have to look at all the Disney stuff because you never know. There'll be some good Disney collectible items. And this is the stuff that's priced a little bit higher, but not still unreasonable. And there was Wizard of Oz dolls there, and some older dolls, and some old board games. And dolls, I don't typically buy dolls unless they're really, really reasonable and they're real collectible. So, because I don't do that well on dolls. So, there was bags of toys here. I looked through all those because sometimes there's some neat little collectible action figures in there. And there was an Eeyore. That was kind of nice. That was a cute little doll. I think that might have been a Thai one. I'm not sure, but I thought it was really interesting looking. So you had to dig through everything to really see everything. And this was nice because they had a Goofy character in that one. I ended up passing, but that was kind of a nice bag. Oh, and there's Snoopy, kind of by himself. So I took a little time digging through all of this because there were so many things in there. So, didn't find anything in all those bags though. So now we're going to take a look and see what we got. So here are all the things that I got at the Kiwanis Thrift sale that we went to. I didn't get a ton, but I did get some nice things. I got this little wagon here. It's a bank. It's from Opryland in Nashville. I don't know if Opryland is still open or not, but it's an older one because it is marked Japan. So I paid $2 for it. I'm putting 8 on that one. This is an older little shoe bank. I paid $2 for. I put 5 on that one. Not a big value item, but a nice older piece. This donkey here, this one kind of puzzles me. It looks like it's brass. I paid, let's see, $1 for it. I've seen comps as high as $50, $60. I think about $7 to $10 is realistic. These are nice mid-century salt and pepper shakers that I believe I paid 75 cents for. I'm probably going to put $8 to $10 on those. These are an older pair of salt and pepper shakers. They got little carriages. I don't know if you can see them. on the front there. So I'll probably put $6 on them. I think I paid 50 cents for them. And these are these salt and pepper shakers are for Anchor Hocking, and they're an older set, and comps are all over the place on this, but I think realistically they're worth about $8 to $10. People have a lot more than that on it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on that, but shoot me a message if you think I'm really off on that. But usually salt and pepper shakers for me don't go for a big high value. I got this little baby statue here. I paid $2. I'm putting $5 on that. Not sure if that's real old. This is a 31 bag. It's in the original pouch. I paid $1 for it. I'll probably put $5 on that. The best purchase was this right here, which I'm just really surprised that they didn't know about this. This is like similar to looking to a snow baby. I don't know if you would consider a snow baby or not, but I kept looking at this thinking there's got to be a chip or something wrong with this, but I couldn't find anything wrong. It's Department 56. I paid, I believe, $2. It's worth from $40 on up. I put $29.99 on it. I usually try to go a little bit less than what other folks charge for things, because I want my stuff to move. So I usually, when I look on eBay or Etsy or any of those places, it's the sold comps are the best, obviously, but sometimes you can't get a sold comp. But I always usually put it less than that, because I'm getting, like I said in the past, hundreds of people, not millions, like those selling things. So those are the items I got. I think I did pretty good. I got a ton of personal items too. I got some clothing, I got some toys, not to resell but to keep. So I was really happy with that trip. I will definitely be going back there. Plus it was a lot of fun. So this is Lou from Lou's Antiques and Collectibles saying goodbye, and I'll see you again. Bye.